I'm Mike.
I'm Jason.
Welcome to Snake Envy. We're going to do another genetics lingo of the day. Always confusing stuff. Typically we give you a few examples, but we're going to dive a little deeper on this one, and we're going to talk about HYPO specifically. There's a lot of controversy around HYPO, both because there's debate as to within certain species whether it's an actual genetic trait, whether it's a visual abnormality, to what degree does the black need to be reduced in order to call something HYPO.
Right.
I've definitely seen snakes online where people say, hey, look at my great HYPO snake, and I look at it and go, no way I would call that
I
HYPO.
posted stuff and people go, it's nice normal. And
There's way too much black in my opinion. But there's a couple of bull snake morphs in particular that are very controversial. Let's start with Stillwater. So why is it controversial to begin with?
Well, the term hypomelanistic is reduced black or lack of black. Now, I have an adult Stillwater hypo. It is black as black gets on that tail. And
on the tail,
bold.
yeah.
It's bold. I don't know.
and Stillwater was one of the terms that we talked about in an earlier video, and we showed that snake, very black tail.
Yeah.
The stripes.
And the Stillwater name comes from a locality.
Right.
We won't get too much into that.
Right. But over time, HYPO pretty much became what everybody wanted of that line. And so it's pretty tough to find the locality animals anyway.
Yeah.
But
one of the most revered bull snake morphs.
Oh, absolutely.
Beautiful.
Easily one of the most popular. Very beautiful. But it's rare that you see them that they don't have very distinguishable black, particularly on the tail. But some of them even have it up on the neck. But it might just be reduced, and typically it's absent throughout the body. So iffy. Now, part of the controversy over a HYPO Stillwater is that, like a recessive genetic trait, has it just been line bred in order to single out the HYPO from the localities? And in doing all that, why did the black remain? If it's truly HYPO.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't have an answer for it.
And has anyone that you're aware of successfully eliminated the black?
I don't
Consistent.
know. I mean,
there's probably animals here and there.
Well, I have the animals. Well, I just shipped them out. But some of these Stillwaters do not. They're not black.
Okay.
So
they do exist without it.
Some do, some don't. I have an example. We'll look at it.
Okay. Now, the other morph that everybody talks about as in terms of controversy surrounding HYPO is Trumbauer. So tell us about Trumbauer.
Trumbauer HYPO is a HYPO founded by Craig Trumbauer. That's hence the name. This one's really controversial because they're super variable. I mean, you're getting T-positive albino looks to almost normal looks. They're so variable, and I've worked with them so much. People could come over and say that's a normal, but I can tell you that's a HYPO.
You know,
and you won't, and you really visually. And I've sold them, and they're like, this isn't a HYPO, and then about a year later, it's like, okay, it's a HYPO, but they grow into it a little bit. But the variation of different looks, and then you start adding reds and yellows, and it changes the whole concept of the outcome, the look.
Now, I know you get frustrated too, because there are some breeders out there that's because of that variability and because they look so different in terms of the amount of red, the amount of yellow, that sometimes breeders are not calling it Trumbauer, they're coming up with their own names.
Yeah, people like
based on a color, for example.
Yeah, I get annoyed with that, and it's like, and some people don't know, they just don't have the experience, and some people do, and but yeah, it's. I don't know how many Trumbauer hypos I have in here, and I got over 10 different looks probably, and
Wow.
they're so different. And so I've seen some with black. I have one over here. We'll show. It's a combo hypo, but it has black on it. But if you look really close, that black is a super dark purple.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually one of the other things that makes it interesting is that what one person sees as a really dark purple, another person sees as black.
Yeah.
And those colors change too, indoors versus outdoors.
Yeah,
they
natural
can
light,
look completely different in natural
and
light.
yeah, it's like they look different in light. Yeah, and some of this black that you're seeing that is black, it's really just intense, deep, dark purples. And so at a glance it looks black, but if you take a closer look,
Yeah.
yeah.
So are you willing to say definitively, yay or nay, hypo is a genetic trait that you can replicate versus just an anomaly?
You definitely can recreate it. You can definitely alter it too by adding colors and localities and
Right.
stuff like that. And yeah, it's very visible in this collection here. So
Interesting. And are you willing to say definitively yay or nay on Stillwater? Are they hypo?
I really don't want to say. I mean, I'm just gonna and I hate changing when people call something.
Yeah.
I don't like to just, hey, I don't like what you call this, so I'm going to change it. I don't.
Right.
It's disrespectful.
Right.
But I kind of have done that, and it's kind of because patternless bull snakes used to be called speckled, and I just why, why are these speckled?
Yeah.
They're, but that one I kind of started calling patternless, and I think most people felt the same way, so it wasn't a big deal, but.
All right, so in the comments, let us know what you think. Stillwater, Trumbauer, even just hypo in general. So many of the snakes we see pictured online.
And so many species.
Don't look hypo, and so many different species, and they vary.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think about hypo. What is it exactly, and how little black should be the cutoff
Yeah.
for calling something hypo.
Sometimes it's non, sometimes it's pinstripe, sometimes it's thicker, but yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know what you should look up, like get on the hypo gene, look up pyros that are there's a sens line and there's two different lines.
Well, I've seen some of those where there's just the
Pinstripe black
faintest little
and then
black
some are
around
purple.
the bands.
Some
Yeah.
are purple. So
Yeah.
that one's a really confusing one too. And look at this tail here. That looks pretty black, doesn't it? At a glance.
It definitely looks black at a glance. We'll see what the camera shows. But if we get in close, I'm betting we're going to start to see purple.
This is a white-sided hypo yellow bull. Just for you guys wanting to know. Look at that yellow. But let's look at these eyes too. Oh, we got them out a little hissy. Pretty normal looking.
Yeah.
And then that's a Trumbauer. And then you go right here. Here's a Trumbauer.
Wow. Now, at a glance, no question this is hypo.
Look at that purple.
Yeah. And the stripes are clearly purple. But black is nowhere to be found. On the other one, up for debate.
So that's Trumbauer hypo, and then here's the Trumbauer hypo, and they just look different every time.
Wow.
And that's definitely not black.
No, definitely not black on this one. Now, younger snake, there's still a chance for that to deepen.
Yeah, and look how dark it is on the very end. But that is a dark, dark purple. And then let's look at this. Let's look at a couple Stillwater examples. Here's one, a sub-adult. This one has some darks. And that looks black. It's definitely not jet dark. It's something's going on there. It's
both up near the head, but clearly on the tail.
look at that. It looks black.
It's black.
I don't think it's not a true black, but it's like a really deep, dense purple to me. But the mother of this is really dark, even much more darker. And then let's look at a little hatchling to see all its colors. See, this guy doesn't have those dark, nearly as dark.
Nope. And this is the offspring of the one we just saw.
No, it's a sister,
Okay.
sibling.
So different years.
Yeah, 2 years apart.
Wow. Now that clearly looks purple back on the tail.
But
More so than
And then we go right here. And this is a ghost, but the same Stillwater. It looks dark, but that's still a purpley gray color. It looks really black on the camera, but in person, it's really purpley.
I can attest to that. It's looking darker on the screen than in person. No doubt about it. The camera's darkening that color on the bottom half of the snake.
You want to look at one more?
Yep.
Where's this punk right here? This is, okay, there's big poop back there, but this is a red HYPO Stillwater gene. It's a little spazoid, so I'm not going to get too crazy with it.
Clearly purple back on the tail now.
See how much red the red colors change the look of it?